If you're a man over 60 who quietly stepped away from dating, what if that decision wasn't weakness but wisdom? If you've chosen distance from modern dating, relationships, or emotional turbulence, this message isn't here to judge you. It's here to explain why your choice may be one of the smartest decisions you've ever made. While much of society frames solitude as loss, older men are doing something unexpected. They're choosing peace over chaos, and that choice changes everything. Today, there are more emotionally exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected people than ever before. Many women openly talk about loneliness, confusion, and dissatisfaction in relationships. At the same time, a growing number of men over 60 are quietly opting out, not because they're bitter, broken, or unwanted, but because they've lived long enough to recognize patterns. They've already paid the emotional price. Older men have given years, sometimes decades, to relationships that demanded constant compromise, explanation, and emotional endurance. They've sacrificed time, energy, and inner stability trying to make things work. And with age comes a powerful clarity. The ability to ask one honest question: is this worth my peace? For many men, the answer is no. This shift didn't happen overnight. It came from experience, from seeing how emotional instability erodes health, from watching how unresolved conflict drains joy, from realizing how quickly calm disappears when chaos enters the door. Modern culture often misunderstands this withdrawal. It labels older men as emotionally unavailable or checked out. In reality, they are emotionally disciplined. They know what disrupts their nervous system, and they avoid it intentionally. Peace becomes the priority. Silence gains value. Stability becomes sacred. Men over 60 are no longer interested in proving anything to women, society, or themselves. Their identity is no longer tied to being chosen. They've already built lives, careers, families, and legacies. Validation no longer motivates them. What motivates them now is quality of life. This is why stepping back feels lighter, not lonelier. Many older men discover that life becomes calmer once they stop participating in emotional games, constant evaluations, and shifting expectations. They sleep better, their stress decreases, their health improves. This isn't isolation. This is freedom. And once a man experiences this level of calm, it becomes extremely difficult to trade it for emotional unpredictability again. This is only the beginning of the truth. What if the reason older men stop chasing relationships isn't loss of desire, but the gain of understanding? As men move past 60, something fundamental changes inside them. It's not that attraction disappears or the need for connection fades. It's that experience begins to speak louder than impulse. Desire no longer controls decisions the way it once did. You've already seen how relationships begin and how they often end. You've watched patterns repeat themselves: early excitement, emotional demands, misunderstandings, compromises that slowly turn into expectations. You've learned that chemistry doesn't guarantee compatibility, and affection doesn't always lead to peace. Over time, the cost becomes clearer than the reward. This is why many older men stop chasing not because they can't, but because they choose not to. At this stage of life, energy is limited and precious. You no longer want to invest it in emotional uncertainty. You value predictability.com, mornings, uninterrupted routines, and control over your time. These things may seem small to outsiders, but to a man who's lived through decades of responsibility, they are priceless. You've also learned that not every connection improves your life. Some complicate it, some drain it. Some demand emotional labor that never truly ends. Experience teaches you that love without alignment becomes obligation, not joy. So you step back, not angrily, not bitterly, but thoughtfully. Another important shift happens internally. You stop confusing attention with meaning. Compliments no longer inflate you. Interest no longer validates you. You don't feel the need to prove your worth through romance. You already know who you are. This self-assurance changes how you view relationships. Instead of asking, "Do they like me?" you begin asking, "Does this fit my life?" That single question filters out most unnecessary complications. Many people misunderstand this mindset. They assume older men are emotionally closed. In reality, they are emotionally selective. They understand the difference between connection that adds value and connection that consumes peace. After surviving decades of pressure, why would a man willingly invite emotional chaos back into his life? By the time a man reaches his 60s, he understands something most people learn too late. Emotional turbulence is expensive. It costs sleep, it costs health, it costs focus. And once those things are damaged, recovery takes far longer than it did in younger years. This awareness changes everything. Older men have already lived through emotional storms, marital conflict, financial stress, custody battles, betrayals, loss, and disappointment. They felt how emotional instability tightens the chest, raises blood pressure, and lingers long after the argument ends. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. That's why peace becomes non-negotiable. When men over 60 evaluate relationships, they aren't looking for sparks or intensity. They are listening for calm. They observe how a person handles stress, disagreement, and silence. Emotional reactions that once seemed passionate now feel disruptive. Drama no longer excites, it exhausts. This isn't emotional coldness, it's emotional intelligence. Another reality many men face is how emotional stress affects physical health. Recovery slows with age. Poor sleep accumulates. Stress impacts immunity, digestion, and cardiovascular health. A relationship that disturbs peace is no longer just emotionally uncomfortable, it becomes physically risky. So men become cautious. They start asking deeper questions. Does this person bring calm or tension? Do conversations leave me relaxed or drained? Does my body feel lighter or heavier after interaction? These signals matter now. Men also recognize that emotional turbulence rarely stays isolated. It spills into routines, habits, and goals. Exercise declines. Focus weakens. Personal projects stall. And slowly, life shrinks around emotional management. Many men have lived this already and they don't want to repeat it. This is why stepping away from dating doesn't feel like loss. It feels like protection. When chaos is removed, clarity returns. Mornings feel quieter. Thoughts feel sharper. The nervous system finally rests. Society often labels this choice as avoidance. In truth, it's discernment. Knowing what you can no longer afford emotionally is not fear, it's wisdom. At this stage of life, a man understands that peace is not something to negotiate. It is the foundation for health, dignity, and longevity. And once peace becomes the standard, very few connections qualify. This realization naturally leads to another truth: how solitude begins to feel like strength, not emptiness. What if being alone after 60 isn't a sign of loss, but the clearest form of solitude? For many men, solitude carries a negative reputation. Society often equates being alone with failure, as if companionship is the only proof of a life well lived. But men over 60 are discovering something different. Solitude, when chosen intentionally, can be deeply empowering. After decades of responsibility, noise, and emotional negotiation, being alone offers something rare: mental clarity. Solitude allows men to wake up without emotional expectations. Their time belongs to them. Their routines are uninterrupted. Their decisions are guided by personal values, not external pressures. This creates a sense of internal alignment that many men haven't felt in years. Instead of feeling empty, life begins to feel organized. Without constant emotional input, the mind has space to think clearly. Another important shift happens emotionally. He knows how easily peace can be disturbed, and he protects it. This doesn't mean isolation. Men still enjoy friendships, family, conversation, and shared experiences. The difference is intention. Interaction is chosen, not compulsory. Connection becomes meaningful instead of habitual. There's also a physical benefit to this lifestyle. Reduced stress improves sleep. Consistent routines support health. The nervous system stabilizes. Energy returns. Men often report feeling younger, not because life is exciting, but because it's steady. Stability becomes energizing. Many men realize that solitude allows them to age with dignity. They aren't chasing validation. They aren't managing emotional reactions. They aren't sacrificing comfort to maintain connection. Their lives feel self-directed, and once a man experiences this, it becomes his baseline. From this place of strength, relationships are no longer necessary, they're optional. A woman must add peace, not disrupt it. She must complement life, not complicate it. This is where the final truth becomes clear. What if the greatest victory after 60 is not finding someone but finally choosing yourself? By the time a man reaches his 60s, he has already lived many versions of life. He has carried responsibility, faced disappointment, sacrificed comfort, and learned hard lessons through experience. At this stage, his decisions are no longer driven by curiosity or pressure but by clarity. And clarity changes priorities. Many older men reach a point where they no longer feel obligated to meet society's expectations about relationships. They stop measuring success by companionship and start measuring it by peace. The need to explain, impress, or emotionally negotiate fades away. What remains is a man who chooses peace understands that not every door needs to be opened, not every invitation deserves a response, and not every connection is worth the emotional cost. This is not avoidance, it is discernment developed through lived experience. He knows that relationships entered out of habit, loneliness, or pressure rarely bring fulfillment. They often bring obligation, emotional strain, and loss of autonomy. And at this stage of life, autonomy is sacred. This doesn't mean love is rejected. It means love must meet a higher standard. A relationship must now offer mutual respect, emotional stability, independence, and calm. Anything that threatens inner balance is no longer attractive, it is a liability. The man is no longer willing to trade his health, routines, or peace for emotional unpredictability. This mindset often confuses others. People may assume he has given up. In reality, he has refined his values. He has learned that fulfillment doesn't come from being chosen, it comes from choosing wisely. There is also quiet confidence in this choice. A man who is content alone is not easily manipulated, rushed, or pressured. He does not tolerate imbalance. He listens more than he reacts. He observes rather than chases. And because of this, his presence carries weight. If a relationship enters his life now, it must walk beside him, not pull him backward. It must respect his time, his habits, and his boundaries. It must add calm, not complexity. Otherwise, solitude remains preferable. This is the final truth many men discover too late, but those who discover it live differently. They age with intention. They protect their energy. They live on their own terms. Choosing peace after 60 is not loneliness. It is freedom. It is wisdom. It is strength.